Hey everybody, it's Steve with Far Too Loud AV DJ. We are on our way to another Sacred Hive Productions event in Nashville, Tennessee at the end, or I would say usual spot, doing some lighting and laser shows, providing some backline, just some studio monitors, so I got the Altos with me. We'll put those on stands. It's a low budget show, and so I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I'm pretty excited. It's been a while since we've done one of these shows, and I've been wanting to for a while now, so I was happy to hear that, even though it is the day right after Thanksgiving. I just got back in from Memphis, Tennessee, from visiting family for the Thanksgiving this morning, and as soon as I get home, I had to unload the car with all my tools and stuff, and of course my luggage from that trip, and then load it with the equipment I needed tonight, double check my list to make sure I had everything. So yeah, anyways, we're doing lighting and laser show, as I said before, and actually he really just wanted lasers, a laser show, and I said, you know what, I'll throw in some basic floor wash lighting with the PARs, why not. So what we're doing, so I got the two RGB lasers again, as usual, and then of course I've also got my RGBUV PARs with SMB strobes. I've got those, but I've got a lot more of them. So I've got 12 of those suckers now. I went ahead and pre-loaded my T-bars, my lighting, what I call lighting trees. I went ahead and pre-loaded them with the PARs, clamped them, I went ahead and put the clamps on, clamped them to the T-bar, 4 lights per tree. The O clamps for the lasers are already on there, so they're going to be in the right position. But yeah, I went ahead and ran the DMX and the power cable for everything, so that way that's a lot less work I'll have to do once I get to the venue. I'm hoping that's going to save a lot of time, and I'm hoping it's going to work out pretty well, because I want to also start doing that for like mobile DJ gigs as well. It'll just make it a lot easier if I do a lot of prep time ahead of time instead of waiting till I get to the venue. And the more I can do ahead of time, the more time I save later. We have the 2 RGB lasers, of course. It'll be overhead lasers again, and then I also brought the 2 RGB COB PARs that I have for just general DJ lighting. Yes, I only have 2, because there's generally only 1 or 2 DJs on the stage at any time, especially in these small shows. And those lights, last time I used them, I only actually used them for one other show, believe it or not. But the last time I used them, they were so bright, I ended up actually turning them down. So I know they're going to be more than enough, and the wash on them is not too bad, especially when I got them spread well off to the side. So it's an easy enough thing, and so that's what we're rolling with today. And of course, like I said, we've got backline. They're bringing in Function 1 system again. I believe from Culture Sound is what they're called. They provided this Function 1 system for the first year of Soundhaven, the past 2 years of Double Ween, if I remember correctly. But anyways, yeah. So should be a fun night. I'm excited, and we're on our way to the venue. And yeah. We'll see when we get there. Alright, so night's over. I'm headed back home. We got paid. Tonight was a little rough. I knew that I have to do some patching to, you know, basically bring in the new scenes for the pars into the old light show that I used to. I just wanted to go with the same old light show that, you know, I've used in the past, and but just, you know, with more pars. I started to do it, but I had a lot of problems. I couldn't figure out. I'm gonna have to sit down at my desk and go through ShowXpress and figure out why it did not work correctly. I brought in the scenes from one of my newest light shows that I programmed those pars for, and so I brought in the color scenes, the generation, the you know, effects generators, and all that good stuff. I brought in pretty much everything I think I should have, but for some reason it only counted 10 of the pars instead of all 12, and I still can't. I could not figure out how that was working. So what I ended up doing is I just went ahead and readdressed 9, 10, 11, and 12 on the right side of the stage to match the same addresses as the ones on the left side of the stage, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they're both doing the same thing on each side, but it still made a nice effect. I could have went ahead and programmed them to be 5, 6, 7, and 8, but by the time I even thought about that, I didn't want to waste any more time on it, because it was getting a little closer to showtime, and I didn't want to, you know, just in case. I just wanted to go ahead and program them so we had some lighting that was halfway decent, and it was. But then about halfway through the show, we had problem number 2, and boy was it a problem. We had a few problems. Out of freaking nowhere, the lights just started flickering and doing all kinds of weird stuff. And yes, I'm using XLR cables for the most part, especially for the long runs. It is not anything different than I've done before. Matter of fact, I've had a much longer DMX chain using XLRs in the past and had no problem. Same setup. So I know that's not really the issue. I thought maybe I had a bad cable. I just went up and I just touched a cable on the back of one of the lights, because one of the things that would happen is they'd kind of flicker and everything, and then all of a sudden only the pars 1, 2, and 3 would work, and everything else down the chain would not. So I thought it had something to do with that light. So I swapped cables. Still did it. I bypassed the light altogether. Still did it. So I go back a light, bypass that light, still did it. I could not figure it out. And in the meantime, when I'm trying to troubleshoot this before I get this far into it, actually, I thought it was my DMX box doing it, because if I blacked out the lights, everything would black out properly, but then all of a sudden it would stop receiving DMX signal altogether. Like it just wouldn't do anything. So I thought it was the program. Restarted the program, unhooked the DMX box, switched USB cables, thought maybe it was a data cable problem, and it just kept doing it. So I was like, maybe it's the computer. Maybe it's something funky with the computer. So I shut down ShowXpress, and the room is dark at this point, mind you. I have no lighting going on at this time because I have nothing I can do. So I go to restart the computer. It has Windows 10 on it. I have disabled Windows Update on this computer. I hope you're listening, Microsoft, because I really, really freaking hate you right now for this. I disabled Windows Update. Normally, too, if there is an update that it wants to force like when I go to restart it, it will say update and shutdown or update and restart is your option instead of just restart or just shut down. But it said all it said was restart. So I'm like, okay, good. There's no update or anything, as per usual. So I go ahead and click on restart. It restarts. Dell logo comes up. Windows does not come up. It stays on a black screen forever. So I turn it off manually twice, and then I mean I'm thinking I'm done for the night, like, because it's not doing anything, and I didn't have a backup computer or anything. I never have ever come across this problem before, and so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to go set the powers on sound active and master slave or something to get through the rest of the night. Something. Finally, the Windows logo comes up, and then it starts an update. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Windows freaking update on top of everything else. So about 20 minutes later, okay, maybe not that long. So a few minutes later, it finally logs back in. I go back into ShowXpress. I get, and it still does, the lights are still just going crazy. So I said, you know what? He actually mainly wanted, as I stated before, he wanted the laser show. I threw in the light show. He mainly is concerned with lasers. So I go backstage. Remember, I had already prepped the trees with all the DMXing and everything. So I have jumpers that all I have to do is plug in my input and output DMX cable lines going up to the trees. So I take those two lines, bypass the tree altogether, and go directly into the lasers on both sides. And I just ran the lasers for the rest of the night. So if you're wondering why there's no par lighting or stage lighting, that's why. Still was good. I mean, I had tons of compliments on the lights and lasers for the night, No, I don't think anybody knew the wiser. All that happened, but we got through the night. We got the laser show all through the night. It looked good. Thankfully, there was nothing else wrong. So I get to go through now before my next gig, which as of right now is probably, my next gig is in 2 weeks. We have the FLP Christmas party, and I got to do uplighting. Oh boy, okay. So before my next gig, I have got to go through each individual light and test and test and test them. And go through each individual cable and test them. I got a lot of work ahead of me. But you know what? We had a packed house. Everybody had a good time. So it went pretty well. All in all, it went pretty well. But yeah, our next gig, as of right now, is the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police Christmas party, as we've done the last 3 years. And I guess we'll see you then. My brain is no longer working, so I'm just going to focus on driving home and taking a shower and getting my butt in bed. Bye.